Hello and welcome to Fireside Chats at the Influencer Series conducted by the Alchemist Accelerator. These are timely chats with tech leaders about what's on their mind. Let's get into it. Our guest is a Silicon Valley legend. Amr Awadallah is the co-founder and CTO most famously of Cloudera, a company that allowed you to extract value from big data. Cloudera went public and then got acquired for $5.3 billion. Amr now has started a new company that he's passionate about called Vectara. We'll talk about Vectara, but Vectara enables corporations to actually build in-house Gen AI apps safely. Think about hallucinations, think about budgets that go overrun. They deal with all of that, and Amr is going to tell us more about that. Amr also is a serial entrepreneur. Even before Cloudera, he started a company called Aptiva that got acquired by Yahoo, and at Yahoo, he was a vice president at Yahoo of product intelligence engineering, and he also was a vice president at Google of developer relations. If that's not enough, he's deeply technical. He was also a PhD. He is a PhD. He's a graduate from Stanford University with a PhD in EE. Amr's going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about why 95% of enterprise AI adoption seems to be failing today, how you as a founder, when you're choosing a market, can know if you're actually going after a market that is genuinely what you should be pursuing from an AI perspective. We're also going to talk about why Amr has started even though after Cloudera, he had no need to do another company from any economic perspective, why he was so passionate about Vectara to start a new company, Vectara, and also what lessons he's learned about creating enduring, fantastic companies, and why Vectara is also so critical when you think about the future enterprise stack for having enterprise AI succeed. Amr, so I want to get your take on this MIT report that said that 95% of enterprise AI is failing. What was your reaction?
So first I would say the title of the report is clickbait a bit. Like that was intentional, so it's clever of them to pick their title. But again, this is MIT, and this is a proper research group that did do a very extensive study and survey of many enterprises deploying this technology. And if you really read the report in detail, there is a number of key reasons that they highlighted as the logic behind this high failure rate. The very first reason, and I'll talk about it in more detail later because it relates to what Vectara does, is the lack of technical expertise to actually run these things in production. There is many engineers that know how to build prototypes, but running it in production is a whole different story. So that's a very key reason that they highlight. Another key reason is many of these implementations are coming in because of the board of directors and CEO saying, go do AI. Go do AI is not a strategy, right? You need to go save money this way, go make more revenue that way, solve this problem or solve that problem. You always have to start with that. When they say go do AI, what you end up with is an experimental budget, which we try it out, something comes out, and then we throw it away. So that's why it's failing. It's because it's not a real business need. It's a fake, let's do AI business need. So that's kind of the second reason. And then the third reason is mismatch of expectations. And I blame some big companies, without mentioning their names, overhyping what AI can do, which is setting the expectations up here. Like AI will come in and do everything in our company. It's like, no, AI is not ready for everything. There is a few use cases like document generation, like conversational AI, question answering, customer support, that are really prime time right now to deploy it for. But you cannot deploy it for everything. The agentic vision of AI is going to do everything. It will come, but we're not there yet. So because of that mismatched expectations, they launch the project, does not deliver on what they think it's going to do, and they kill it.
And so if you're a startup founder, how should you triage what's a real opportunity to pursue versus one where you're getting sucked into the hype, but it's not going to be actually a viable long-term opportunity or market to go after?
It's the same advice for any startup you work with, which
Yes.
is make sure you are grounded in a real problem.
Okay.
You're not being distracted by the hype. You are focusing on what problems am I trying to solve. Yes, I know this technology very well. I know how good it is and what it can do. That's great, but now let me find the problem that I can really solve with that technology in the right way.
And how do you know if there's a real problem? Because one of the heuristics that's given in the past is like Steve Blank is a big fan of saying if a customer has a budget for a need, then that's a validated market to go after. And in fact, that's like the highest on his pyramid of needs? Is, does the customer know they have a problem? Or do they have a problem? Do they know they have a problem?
Yeah, the
And
three
highest,
whys.
yeah, and then the highest is, do they already have a budget?
Yeah.
But you're saying that the budget actually can be illusory.
Exactly.
So what is the way to know if you're actually going after something that's a real
Are you production or not? So very, 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 very good question. So first, yes, the three whys. Like, why do something at the first place? Like, do I have a problem?
Yeah.
Why now?
And why? Yeah.
And then why this vendor? Why should
yeah.
I work with you on doing these? Are the kind of three whys we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
The caution with the budget is that many of these new AI projects, it's fake budgets.
Yeah.
It's budgets for doing exploration.
Yeah.
And these will turn into projects that will churn.
Yeah.
Yes, you will get a startup grow up to 20 million revenue very quickly, and then it's all gone next month, right? So a very key role that we as entrepreneurs have to do, and also investors investing in us have to do, is to triangulate with that customer that this is not somebody who's just like selling snake oil just to get something going, leveraging the hype. No, they're actually solving a real problem that is delivering for that business in a real way, and get the word from the business, right? Because, for example, we have many of these banners on 101 here saying, oh, we're going to give you this AI SDR agent that will do all the sales for you and give you leads nonstop day and night.
Yep.
No, does not work today. Like, it's not there yet. If you don't have a real SDR working with the AI SDR, you're not going to deliver. Now, many of these startups selling that, they will go to the investor and say, yeah, our customers love it. We did 20 million in revenue. We're growing really fast. Now, if you don't go back and talk to the customer to validate what's going on, then you're going to be fooled by the hype that's taking place. And the entrepreneurs themselves, some of us are to blame for doing that, for amplifying that effect in the same way that the big companies, without mentioning names, are also overhyping the value of AI.
Okay. So you have to then actually look at where there's real value, real need to being driven.
Yeah.
You know that if you can find the business owner to articulate the pain point.
Yes.
And you can articulate what the outcome needs to be to solve that pain point.
Exactly. Are you solving it because it's a true pain point that they have, that they are trying to improve their efficiency in a certain way, and you're really delivering that for them? Or are you doing it there because their board of directors told them, go to some AI right now?
So understand the rationale for why they're doing this. So it's the three whys that you're saying before.
Exactly.
Okay. Why do anything? Why now? And why me?
Yes.
Those are the three questions.
Yes.
Okay. And if you were to get to I know you have your own startup now, so maybe this is going to be the T at Vectara.
Yeah.
But I'm curious if you were, because you also have such you're sort of legendary within Silicon Valley. There's so many things that you've done. If you were going to start a company right now, if there was a startup founder that wanted your advice on what markets to pursue, what would you pursue?
The advice I always give is we don't know. That's the whole game with entrepreneurship. Is you don't know what's going to work in the future or not. Especially that's doubly so and doubly true today with how fast AI is evolving. That said, my advice will be the same: is make sure you're picking a problem that you have an affinity with. You're passionate about solving that problem.
Yes, and that's a really important first point. So it's independently what the customer need is.
Yes.
You should operate from an internal compass of something you care about.
Yeah, because if you don't have that,
yes.
As I and you know very well, there's so many ups and downs and punches, and you're going to fall on the floor 100 times.
Yes.
The only thing that's going to keep you have the persistence and the resilience to stand back up is your love and affinity with the problem.
Yes.
So that's number one in my book. Like, if you have that, then you are now on the right path, at least.
And did you have that at Cloudera?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you ever had an experience where you didn't have that?
No, I did not.
So you've always had.
Yes, I always had the passion. I'm a very passionate guy. So
I know you are.
But
I'm curious if there's a yes.
Now, maybe for my first startup, yes. So actually,
your first startup you did.
So my first startup, I sold to
Because the one that you sold to what I want to key in on is a lot of founders. They're in the business of selling visions, and they can also be self-delusional. They can sell a vision that they actually don't really believe in, but they're saying that they believe in it because they need to rationalize it for what. So I'm curious how to really know if you really care.
Yeah. So you're right. Unfortunately, there is some good scam artists that can portray such a vision, and there's some famous examples in Silicon Valley.
There's extreme examples like Elizabeth Holmes or Sam Bankman-Fried. But I think the more pernicious ones are actually less explicit. Yeah. It's really when a founder is pursuing something because they think other people are going to, it's like a hot space to go after, or a hot market to pursue, or they can get into an accelerator because of it, but they actually don't really.
But that's your job as an investor.
Of course, that's our job as an investor. But it's I feel like it's even more of a disservice for the founder themselves to be
Absolutely.
too skilled because
Absolutely.
they can trick me and they
Yeah.
can trick investors
And
then
trick themselves.
and trick
Like,
themselves.
why trick yourself?
Yeah.
Why do that to yourself?
So when do you know? I guess how do you know when it is something that's an authentic
Yeah.
passion to pursue?
How do you know when you love somebody?
Well,
How do
it's
you know when
because,
you
yeah.
see a girl and like, I really want to be with that, or a boy, or whatever your preferences are, like, I really want to be with that person.
And it's because you just relentlessly think about that.
Yeah, there's something like define love, right? Like it's something like your neurons fire up.
And
yes,
and that's what and you can speak to this because you've gone through your different paths. But that's when you were at Cloudera, you were just relentlessly.
Yeah, I never questioned my love for the problem of big data and solving that problem. Same way right now, I never question my love for solving the agentic deployment problem in organizations.
Yeah.
But I'll go with my first startup, which I started in 1999. There was a comparison shopping engine that we sold to Yahoo when we were 1 year old. And yes, before we made the decision, let's go sell this company, I'm not sure actually I love this problem. Like, I've been doing this for 9 months right now. I'm not excited about going to work.
Okay, that's how you know. You wake up and you're not excited about going to work.
I'm being forced to do this. It's like, it's not fun.
Okay.
So there's many signals. It's just like love. Like my definition is love. Do you have passion and love for the thing that you're working on? And there's many studies from Stanford and other organizations that show that the number one attribute that defines successful entrepreneurs is grit. And I love this word grit. It's such an awesome word because it captures two significant concepts together. And the significant concepts is perseverance. Like you're going to be punched down 100 times and you're going to persevere. You're not going to give up. You're going to keep going. But you're only going to get that perseverance if you have passion, right? Because if you don't have the passion for that thing that you want to persevere around, you're going to give up and you're going to fail. I assure you. And one of the hardest jobs that we have to do as investors, I do some angel investing every now and then myself, is having that conversation with the entrepreneur to see that true light in their eyes that, that's true love versus you faking it. Dude. I know you're faking it.
So the first thing is fall in love with the problem.
Yes.
In the AI space.
Yes.
A problem.
The problem, not the AI.
Not the AI,
is a
not the
tool.
technology.
Yeah.
You actually, that's a really good nuance.
Yeah.
So it's not getting in love with what you're seeing on the agentic side or the autonomous side. It's a problem, a need that you want to solve.
Exactly.
Okay. And then is there another step after that?
Of course, team. It comes right after that. If you don't have the right team around you and hire first your co-founders, be very 70% of the companies I think fail because of founder dynamics.
Founder splits, yes.
Yeah. Like surprisingly, OpenAI survived the founder splits.
I know, and it's still. I think it's a question if it's survived. I mean, there's been a lot of children that have come out of OpenAI that have
We'll see how the long-term plan pans out. But I cannot stress that enough.
And what did you learn? You were with Mike Olson, is that right?
Yes, amazing co-founder. I love Mike Olson.
Mike is a
oh my god, so lucked out.
Fantastic soul.
Yeah. Jeff Hammerbacker as well.
But can you share any unintuitive insights to know when you have a great co-founder or when you're
it's the same when you have a great spouse.
It's the same analogies.
What means is you will be able to have significant debates and fights with them, like argue about things relentlessly and even point to each other mistakes we're doing and so on, but never be upset at each other.
Yes.
Because,
I think that is what I've noticed.
Because we're unified in the love for the mission that we're after.
So you all can agree, you all know who owns whatever parts of the business.
And what we're good at.
And what you're good at. And you all also
complete each other.
You complete each other. You can also have strong disagreement. So there's honesty. You're not holding anything back. Because I think that's one of the hallmarks. Is the first moment you feel like you want to conceal something from your co-founder, that for me is the sign that you're going to...
You have to have radical candor.
You have to have radical candor, but then also be aligned on the vision or the purpose.
Yeah.
And also, do you think it's important to be aligned on the CEO on who makes the final decision? Or does that... maybe not. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but so that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's more about alignment on the vision.
No, alignment in the vision. Yes, you need to have some sort of a rules of engagement when we have conflicts. Usually, if you have a good team, like with myself, Mike, and so on, we were actually rarely ever that we had something that we didn't reach consensus on.
Okay.
But you're right. You need to have a rules of engagement when we do not reach consensus. Yeah. Who is going to break that? Sometimes it can be the CEO if it's a business topic. Sometimes it can be the CTO if it's a technical topic. So it depends. But you're right. There should be rules of engagement around that.
And is it the same? So do you have co-founders right now with
Yes.
Vectara? Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think the same rules apply with them as it was with Mike?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
So any other heuristics?
And the team as well. So the co-founders are only like the tip of the iceberg, but the team, and especially the first 20, 50 people you're going to have, And that's the key lesson I learned from Cloudera, actually. At Cloudera, we had an initial team, and we were very lax in letting go of people in the initial team. We're very lax. Like, let's give them a chance, let's coach them, let's work with them, let's mentor them that way, let's get them a coach to work with them. It's like, you don't have time for that shit. In the first 5 years of your company, especially forming this seed that's going to be the culture for the company, you just don't have time for that shit. And I know it sounds brutal, but you have to let them go right away. Like, as soon as you detect it's not working out, give them a warning after a month, another warning after the second month, third month they're out. Take good care of them, maybe give them a good severance, invest them some equity, help them find a new role, but that's the best thing you can do in the early stages. Later on, when you're a big company, 300, 500 people and above, then you can give people more benefit of the doubt. So that's a lesson I learned the hard way at Cloudera that I'm applying now at Vectara. Yeah.
And so you're looking for a great co-founder. You're also looking for a great founding team.
Exactly.
And that team is up to the first 50 people.
Yes.
Really,
every one of them matters. The first 50 matters so much. They become two things. First, they are the seed for everything that's going to become.
Yeah.
But more importantly, when you're at that size of 50 people, one person is 2% of the throughput of the company. So it's significant. It affects the process of the company. But actually, if that one person is not performing, either due to culture issues, they're disruptive cowboy that's just like ruffling the feathers of everybody, or they're just not performing good enough, they affect another at least 10 people around them. They're going to be also less productive. So effectively, your performance will go down by almost as high as 10%, if not 20%, because of one person. You just can't afford that. When you're trying to run super speed against mega Goliath companies being funded so well, you can't afford that. You have to be brutal about it.
And how do you find great people?
That's an excellent question. So first, the recruiting process is a flow process. By definition, when you're trying to hire people, you will make mistakes, right? To try and minimize the probability of a mistake, one of the best things you can do is to hire from your network. It's somebody that you worked with before, you know them, you know their mannerisms, you know they're a good culture fit, you know they have a great work ethic, they really have the expertise for the subject area you're hiring them for. That's the best thing you can do, if you can do that. You should try and bias the first 10 at least to be in that category if you can. If you have the first 10 in that category, then these first 10 will have their own connections that help you get to the 50. If you do hire from people that are unknown quantities, meaning you just found them through recruiters or whatever, then you have to keep a very close eye on them in the first 3 months. And then make the correction by the third month. Don't wait beyond that. Yeah.
Okay. And so we're building this framework of identifying a great opportunity. Level 1 is fall in love with the problem.
Yeah.
Level 2 is have a great team that you also fall in love with.
Yeah. Investors.
Any others? And then the investors.
Capital, of course. Okay. These are the 3 elements of any company, right? You want to have a great market and idea that you're after, a great team that you can do that with, and then great capital that is really supportive of you. There's not just capital. Like, I break down investors in two kinds. Yeah. There is the investors that tend to they come from the operator world, right? So I'm very fortunate at Vectara, for example. One of my key board members and investor is Alfred Schwang. Yeah. Alfred Schwang comes from Raise Capital, but before that, he was the CEO and founder of BAE Systems, one of the most successful enterprise software companies. Yeah. He knows the ups and downs and struggle and pain that an entrepreneur has to go through from ground zero. Yeah. So supportive. Like anytime I want a phone call, I'm sending a message, what signal, WhatsApp, email, I want to meet, right away, he's with me, helping me do things. At Cloudera, without mentioning names, one of our investment firms were more like private equity financial operators, right? So they're like, it's all about what did you do for me? There's no support for you whatsoever. I was like, I need the support. I'm like, because I cannot get the support from my team. Like, in front of my team, I have to show like ironclad, super confident, everything is awesome. When I have issues, I need to talk to the investor and get some advice. So that's choosing the color of the money you're getting in your first rounds. Is A, B, especially seed A and B. After that, you can go to the other guys.
You have more money. And I don't think a lot of founders, especially first-time founders, understand that nuance or difference. How do you triage? How do you know if an investor is going to be of the Alfred Schwang camp or the
I think the best signal were they themselves former founder operators, right? So, for example, I don't want to say bad things about Andreessen Horowitz, but Andreessen Horowitz, like both Ben and Mark, they're amazing. They are that. But the problem now is inside of the firm, they have many other folks that are not really founder operators by DNA, and you might not get the same level of treatment from them.
And the original intention was it to be all founder operators, but then they ended up having to deviate for that because of scale. Well, this has been such a fantastic talk.
I know we went. Vectara.
Okay, let's talk about Vectara. So tell me now, because all of this is building up to this moment of Vectara. So we haven't talked about it directly, but everything is building up to Vectara. So tell me about Vectara.
So as we talked earlier, the MIT report highlighted that 95% of the projects fail. Yeah. And there's a number of reasons, like the fake budget and like the experimental budgets and like the expectations being mismatched. But the key reason is that it's easy to build an AI agentic system and workflow in your organization. There's so many YouTube videos and blog posts that many of the engineers at companies think, oh, we can do this ourselves.
Yeah, if they were doing it in-house, yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly the failure pattern that they highlighted. And they would go do that, and then they would launch it to their business users, and then their business users say, what is this crap? Half the report you generated for me is made up stuff, and the other half is confidential, secure stuff that should not have been released in this report. Right? So you have this big problem with security and accuracy that keeps showing up again and again, because nailing that part of having the proper context, which is called context engineering in real time, feeding into the AI agents as they work, is essential.
Okay.
Like the analogy I use is the AI or the LLMs are like the brain, right? They're the new synthetic brain that we're building. But the brain doesn't work if it doesn't have a good nervous system that's connecting to all of your knees and legs and hearts and everything else to gather that data in. So and gather that data in the right way, in the right form, with the right metadata, access control, governance, and so on. So that's exactly the problem that we solve at Vectara. We give organizations an operating system for running agents.
Interesting. So you're going to actually enable in enterprise AI development. It's for enterprises when they're building their own in-house tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And they can do it within a contextual environment that can manage all the things around making sure that the data is not hallucinating, security, all the hygiene elements around it.
Yeah, like I'll give you an analogy from the database. I always like to look at the history to try and learn from it. But of course, we have to be cautious with history because it might not repeat itself as well. But I look at Larry Ellison, whether you like him or not, as a genius. Because back then, when we were building databases, we were building them in the same way we build agents today. Meaning what? We go and get components, Lego pieces. The storage from here, the indexing service from there, the query planning from here, the query execution from there, and then middleware to stitch everything together, like Llama Index, whatever today. Right? And then we stitch everything together. We spend 6 months doing that, and then we start building our application, and then we launch it, and it doesn't work. Because now whatever we built is legacy. It's not the greatest and greatest anymore. Furthermore, the other problem that happens is if this engineer is working on this use case over here, and they build their own database in this way, or their own agent system in that way, and the other one over here, then you end up with a problem where if this developer leaves, this guy has no idea how to take over from them. Another very big problem. The biggest problem that Larry Ellison solved was the CIO and the CTO, once they deploy all of these applications on their databases, they need to have a central management layer that allows them to manage these deployments from a security, cost, performance, and quality perspective. And that's really where the DBA role was born. So if you think about what's happening right now in this world, is the same thing is happening again, where these organizations will need to have this platform that has a unified API for the developers to build on, and then has a unified management later for the agent administrators. As
is that what we're calling it? You're going to call it an agent administrator?
I'm calling them agent administrators, AAs.
And you're building the AA layer?
We're building the enablement layer for the AAs to manage all of the agent, we call it sprawl, that's happening within the organization, to control the accuracy, to control the security, to control the latency and throughput, the performance, but more importantly, control the cost as well. Because as you know, all of these agents are burning tokens left and right. And during the POC stage, it's okay, but during production, these costs can run up very, very quickly.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
I can see why you're thrilled and excited about it.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's the same passion that you also. Does it feel different than Cloudera?
No, it's exactly the same thing, and that's how we know, right?
And it's addictive.
Oh wow, it's very addictive. I mean, in many ways, like I don't need to be working. Like
I know, I was gonna say
Cloudera was a great success.
But
this stuff is addictive. Like creating something that makes a difference in the world, and hopefully it will become your legacy. Like one day I'm gonna go away, but this will be my legacy. Wow, it's so fulfilling. Like Steve Jobs is gone, but we remember him because he created Apple. HP, Hewlett Packard, both of them are gone, but we remember them because of HP. And that's such a, for me, for all of us, like you're doing with all the investments you're doing.
But when I look at people like you, that when you've had such a huge exit with Cloudera, not exit, but when you had, you built such an amazing company and a success, and then to think, Amr could be doing anything in the world. You have more money than you could ever use. And yet you're throwing yourself back into the trenches, and it's because you love it.
Exactly. Love, passion is the key.
And I can see it in your eyes. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can feel it when you're next to Amr. Well, thank you, Amr. You know, what we're trying to end with is if you want to share a final 6-word takeaway to the audience. So if you're talking to a prospective new founder and you want to share advice in 6 words or less, what 6 words would you give?
Let's see if it's 6. Make sure you love it.
Okay, that's perfect. It is 6. It's
Make sure
5.
you love it.
Make
5.
sure
there you
go.
go.
Make sure you love it. I think that's fantastic. Thank you, Amr.
Thank you.
Okay, that's done. And that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more discussions as well. You can also check out our website, alchemistaccelerator.com, to learn more about the Alchemist Startup Accelerator program and to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.